Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Spirit Hunters Infinite Horde run. Today we will be going with Maxine, trying to get the ultimate in spear action. The reason for this is her spears are 40% better. So let's go here. I have been doing a lot of the auxiliary desert. It's been a while since I've done the original desert, so let's get with the original desert. We are starting with the spear. No real set plan for the other weapons, oddly enough. Since I've done a lot of the showcases, I just kind of want to show off some different builds and different things. So I'll probably avoid the mines. I've been doing the mines a lot. Same thing with the orbital fire and things. So maybe we'll do some Grand Hex with the buff. It is quite good. But let's start off with just focusing on this lovely, lovely spear. I'm going to avoid the cleave and the arrow for sure. We're gonna re-roll that. We don't want any of those. We'll take some shurikens as our boss killer at the end because why not? They'd still get the job done. We'll get this Grand Hex out of the way, and you know what? Let's go for some safety. Why not? Can't hurt. Don't really need it, but can't hurt. As you can see, we are starting at 1.92 seconds with a 0.12 second increase every single time. So that's gonna get quite fantastic. So I don't want any of those. So we won't take any of those. Get some AoE size, hit more stuff, more dead, more experience. More experience leads to more dead. It's a perfect cycle. And we'll get some tornado. Tornado will be our final one. Fantastic. Not the hugest fan of tornado overall. I think it's great defensively. I do think that. But at the same time, for the most part, it does get in the way a lot. Now, at the same time, playing as not Vivian, I guess it doesn't matter what gets the kills. It's just a matter of, are you going to be in range to pick it up? So it is just a lot more movement-based. Let's get this Grand Hex going. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we even have another pet. This is starting off to be very strong. So, can't argue when the game provides. Armored worm over here. I think he is the highest HP boss, at least in this area. So never a dull moment there. And let's make sure our spears are tackling him. Again, the spears you cannot necessarily aim, but they do appear around you, so you do sort of want to just stay around your targets and let them take them down. We're already taking some pretty heavy hits. That's perfectly fine, though. We do have Hardy, who will heal us up over time, and yeah, it's going to be fairly simple. We just need to make sure we do the damage to get these dead. Get some bosses, get some chests. What's in chests? More hearts. So, more bosses killed, more survivability. Spears are already picking up in speed. Nowhere near in speed as the other, big killers, but they do have some pretty good numbers once you get them up there. We're going to sort of do a mix and match as well. We're not just going to focus on one or two things. I do believe the best way to do this is by focusing on one or two weapons, getting them super powerful. The upgrade system that is in this game is fantastic. Oh, look at that heart. I'll take it. The upgrade system is fantastic. Once weapons are fully upgraded, it is just nuts. The problem is you can't upgrade everything. We are not going to get to level, 160, unfortunately. So, just have to take what we get, and this is what we're taking. We're gonna get a spear. We will focus on. I will say, shurikens. We will get number and cooldown, not necessarily damage or crit. Crit is nice to have. It does. We do want super cooldown on Grand Hex though. Cooldowns for all. Cooldown being, I think, the most important stat. Again, there are points where other stats are better. For instance, if things take 15 health to die, or 12 health, and you only are doing 10 damage, well, another 2 damage goes a lot longer than a little bit more cooldown, because then it takes 1 hit to kill versus 2. However, once you are in a stable enough position that that does not matter, then we are talking about cooldown, because the more hits, the better. So, as you can see, the spears are coming quite quickly already. We'll get their damage up a little bit so they can keep up as the enemies just continue to gain their health. And the spear's doing a pretty good job. We're at 1.2 second cooldown now. It's coming out, relatively quickly. Cleave is faster in general already, especially with 6 cooldown reductions in it. This will now be our 7th, so, it's not comparable, but again, everybody is saying, including the devs, that Cleave is definitely the overpowered weapon. There is no question about it, so we just have to accept that and go from there. We're going to get another tornado, get them to spread it a little bit more. Getting their size 2 to 3 levels is quite nice, because their size initially does not encompass, as they go out, everything, but you don't need too many levels in the size. Getting the numbers is definitely far greater. I do want to get some cooldown on the shurikens and things, but at the same time, this is the spear run. We are getting spears to destroy the world, so let's get spears to the heavens. And it looks like they're already starting to be pretty decent. Not going to complain about that right there. And our spear cooldown again. We are sub-second on the spears, which I love. Sub-second. Here we go. Let's get some number up. Number is going to be more important than the cooldown, I think. Shooting more is quite good. So, cooldown does add up significantly, but so does number for the shurikens. Number and cooldown are fairly hand in hand. Same thing, number with the spears. Fantastic. We're already crushing these mini-bosses. And this is only with 1 damage upgrade. Again, max level spears, but at the same time, spear is a wonderful thing in the fact that it is the earliest weapon to get a plus damage banner, which is a fantastic element to have. Plus damage banners are very impactful. Again, it's doubling your levels. Any banner upgrade, don't get me wrong, but there are definitely some that are better than others. So, again, the shurikens have the plus crit banner, giving them 10% crit, which is great. At the same time, they're starting at 38%, which is already ridiculously high compared to most other weapons. So they basically are the crit machine. That is their job. No more cooldown upgrades, unfortunately. We'll keep it going. But one thing to really point out is just how fast these spears are already getting. And even more damage, which is fantastic. So, but yeah, they're already plenty enough to kill the waves. Going quite quickly, even with Vivian, even if we had more levels, they would not be this fast, which is great. Can we get any cool pets or anything? We'll take you. We'll take a magnet. Fantastic. I love me a magnet on Maxine. The magnet pet is probably, unargued, one of the best pets in the game. I believe on Vivian is not necessarily the best. Definitely skips down a couple notches because of her passive gain. It's the spear run. Spears. Unfortunately. Cooldown on the shurikens. Make sure when we want to kill that boss we can. And let's see, our spears are hitting. Get some more number, even better. And the spears are just a good protection, especially... Oh, I let him hit me. Some bosses, like that one right there, when they hit you, they will explode. No, not dropping a chest. That was my fault. Should have moved out of the way. But hey, nobody is perfect all the time. And yeah, my favorite part about Maxine is just the cooldown. Look at that. We're already at 0.84. This is number 9. We are just moseying. No complaints. Again, her health, leaves a little to be desired. You're not gonna be tanking very much, but her move speed does make up for it. We're gonna take a few seconds. What do we have here? AoE size, number, or damage. Now, number is fantastic. Now, you can say this 2 damage is 2 damage 9 times. You can make that argument, but again, if you want to kill a single target, right now, each one is killing every little thing. So increasing by number by 1 will actually be more impactful than damage by 2. On the opposite side of the spectrum, however, you can also say that, well, if you get a boss, the number is not going to help nearly as much. So, we shall see how that goes. We're going to take the damage in this case, because I do want to make sure we kill some of the bigger things faster. This being said as well, our cooldown is sub-second, where if you do not use Maxine, you cannot get to a cooldown this level. That's what I was making the point before, when if you were playing as Vivian, you would not be this fast. So these are this fast because of this character, that ability that she has of a 40% increase. At max level, it is 40% faster. Now, that being said, like, look at this. This is, oh my god. At max level, with a normal spear, you are at 1.2. At max level with this, you are at 0.72. So it is ridiculously faster. It is amazing the amount of speed that you gain out of this. Caveat this, in future patches, as the devs have sort of started to shift away from the percent increases for Maxine and just give you ranks in skills, well, you know, I have a feeling everything is going to shift this way. And once that happens, I think Maxine is really going to lose a lot of luster other than her speed. Ranks is nice. Again, it's essentially saying you start with free levels. When you compare some of them, for instance, was it Bone and Arrow start with 3 ranks. The Hex starts with 5 ranks. That's essentially saying 3 levels or 5 levels. And you can already see, if you just look at those two, well, one is 3 levels and one is 5 levels. Right there, one is better than the other, period. No, you don't even need to see more than that. It's just, well, this is 3, this is 5. And if they do that with Spears and Cleave, where it's, okay, Cleave starts with 2 levels, because Cleave is overpowered and we haven't changed it yet. Well, now that's saying you're starting with 2 levels. And then Spear starts with 4 levels. Okay, well, that's 4 levels. It's a wasted super ability, comparatively. Again, the speed is the character's, unique ability, but every weapon has a quote-unquote super ability, or whatever you want to call it, a unique attribute, mix and match, what have you. But just being levels essentially ruins that synergy, because you can get it on Vivian faster. If you're 3 levels on this character, well, Vivian can get to 10 plus more levels because she just gets more experience than this character. So now you're saying that it's the speed and the health decay versus something else. Conrad, definitely good on this character with less health, which is nice. The more you can reduce the damage, the better. We're going to start increasing that number. Kill more things, more good. As you can see, we're completely surrounded. And the problem with the spear that I have is there's enemies right next to me. Literally, it was right next to me. Still was right next to me. They even flew by me. And the spear was just like, I want to attack some stuff over there. Not having that targeted ability definitely, I think, hinders this weapon. However, with some dodging, with some movement, especially on Maxine, dodging is not terrible. You get that extra speed, which is fantastic. So with the dodging, it's not terrible. But it even shows you that with fairly upgraded spears, with a great cooldown, fast-moving things that surround you can definitely still kill you. You still have to, you can't just say, well, I'm perfectly safe, I have my spear wall, because when you're surrounded, they just choose. Kind of sucks, but when you're not fully surrounded and you're sort of moving into mobs like this, you can see that it is perfectly fine. It's going to hit them as they come into range, so nothing will ever get close. So, it's a double-edged sword. Spears will do. They are good enough. I do wish, again, they were a little bit prioritized. Maybe they target the X number of spears closest, or X number of targets closest to you, where X is the number of spears that they have. That would be fantastic, but at the same time, that does take away some of the danger of using this weapon. Again, this weapon not having the same amount of consistency, as the arrow and the cleave, it's good. It changes it. It's definitely different. it's guaranteed hit. With the arrow, you can't just stand still. You have to be, you have to be constantly moving or using your mouse and going in circles and things like that if you are surrounded. It's definitely a very peculiar position to be in. So, and the spear's getting large. I mean, these are massive, massive spears. We're probably going to do a Spear Conrad run at some point just to see how big of a difference it is. But we can see, I mean, these are big enough. And we are at Spear level 29 only. We still need a bunch of number, and a bunch of damage. The number and the damage are the, quote-unquote big ones. But again, if your damage can handle it, then it's less important than cooldown and AoE and number. Now, for the final boss, obviously, you're going to want more damage, so that is perfectly fine. We'll just get all the good things. Why not? It's there. We got the money. There's a chest right here. And yeah, this is going to be pretty smooth sailing. Unfortunately, it's not going to be that exciting, but we can see where the upgrades come in. The shuriken is coming online. Not going to complain about that. I will say, feel free to jump towards the end just to see how things do on the boss. Again, the shurikens will be shurikens, but my goal will be to try and use some, try and have the spear there. As you can see, the shurikens are doing good damage when they hit, which is fantastic. Even without all of the upgrades, again, boss killer weapons are that for a reason. They give you consistent hits when they are hitting. So it's the consistency that matters. Now, obviously, with the shurikens, you can definitely drop the consistency if it targets something other than what you want it to target, because you're surrounded or XYZ. But it's consistent enough. I do think the fact that when fully upgraded is the highest damage boss killer makes up for that. I should still get some more spear stuff, but we still have plenty of time to get the last levels. But yes, I do believe the consistency is balanced with how much damage it has the potential to do by getting to 100% crit rate and the fastest attack speed, I believe, slightly beating out Bone. Let us get this finally. We upgrade finally. It's been a while. These are how big these spears are, and they are reaching to the heavens. They are so tall. I don't know how that affects the circle when they pop out. It is neat seeing them be physically bigger, but at the same time, this is a faux 3D world, so just them being taller doesn't necessarily mean that much. But it does look very, very cool. This is a very pretty game. I love the design and the graphics that they do for everything, and you can tell that the developers are having fun with it, with the design of all of their bosses and things like that. So, nothing but kudos there. And get some damage. These mudmen, sandmen, what have you, they're taking a hit or two. What's nice is the spear can crit, obviously. As you can see, the 66 is popping up from the spear. And the spear has a pretty good crit rate base. It does not have any crit upgrades, which I believe is why the base is as good as it is. So that's fantastic. I mean, I will never complain about pretty good crit rates without having to upgrade it. I think 30% is really all you need on most weapons. The cleave weapon can get towards 70-80%. Once you pass 50, you're pretty solid, especially once you have all the cooldown reductions. Getting more, don't get me wrong, more is always good, but it's doing what it needs to do. So get even more magnet, pick up some more stuff, maybe get another level or two. Well, or definitely get another level or two, but maybe get a few more thanks to that. And let's just finish off the cooldown and the number. That way our shurikens are, while not damage maxed or crit maxed, they are firing as well as they can be. Just a constant stream. And this is the speed that you are looking for. As you can see, nothing really can survive when things are targeting it. we are focusing more on the damage versus the number of the spears. We have loads of money. Buy it all, get all the good goods, and move on. This is the thing that I think Rupert is underrepresented for. Because when you are doing the heroic modes, you are starting to farm for all of the good resources. And it's those blue runes and things like that. You need a lot of them. And being able to just straight up buy 100 and not think about it does add up significantly. So I think Rupert, while not the best pet, for sure, I think once you're in a situation where you're saying, okay, I'm purely farming, I just want money, I just want blue runes, I just want crystals, what have you, he is a fantastic pet to have, because when you go to that shop and you have an extra 50% money, maybe that means you buy a pet or two to survive. Maybe that means you buy the blue runes. Maybe it means it gets you the hearts. You know, there are so many different factors that weigh into what you can buy, and just having that cash, I mean, money speaks. And that's what Rupert does for you. So I definitely think he is an underrated pet in a lot of situations. Where is this guy? He is up top. Let's get a few more damage on these. Hopefully we'll get there. He's going to do a little charge, and we're just going to avoid that thanks to our increased speed. Now, unfortunately, again, we did get the shurikens to fire down, and the spears are doing plenty to handle all of the mobs around us. We do need to... there we go. And we got him. Easy peasy. Not a problem. The spears were a great defensive wall. You don't have to think about them. Set them and forget them. So, I am a fan. Not as much as, obviously, some other weapons, but they get the job done wholeheartedly. No complaints. Every boss killed. Look at that. Maxine's increase of speed with them, I think, is incredible, and I hope it does not change. Oh, I hope it so much. I really hope that they stop going with the ranks in skills and allow it to shine, because that's her key thing, is increasing speed. It gets her that huge advantage. I mean, it is a huge advantage, but other classes have advantages too. For instance, just being able to heal when casting things and the like. So, but thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, check out some of my other videos. You know, there's a whole slew of content up here. And have a wonderful day.